Hey, true believers, it's ENGLENTINE here. I haven't done one of these in a long time, but this is going to be a rant. I had a comment in one of my videos. I'm actually having a hard time remembering which one it was, but the gentleman said something like, it's hard to describe what a nerd is anymore. And I thought about that. And my comment was, are we losing our identity? And it made me just think, because I've mentioned this on a live stream, that I'm a bit of an introspective person. I question myself, why am I doing this? What am I doing? Is it helping? And I've also been doing videos, and I've been reading up, trying to get a handle on a couple more I'm going to be making, about the changing hobby. And there's been a term, and I've heard it for a long time, fake geek girl. And it just makes me wonder, what is a fake geek? I know where it comes from. It comes from booth babes, like you're seeing on the screen, and you're going to see because, hey, booth babes are a lot better to look at than my fat ass. But one thing that came from, of course, was you have these pretty girls who just are so obvious that they don't partake in our hobby. And that's not to say that beautiful girls don't partake in the hobby. It's just to say that there are certain ones that are there to do one thing, and that's to sell us on something. They have just enough knowledge about whatever it is they're selling to make it look like they know what they're talking about, but on any kind of further inspection, they just don't make it. Let me put it to you this way. And don't ask me how I know, but you see the one, the little Asian girl, second one from the left? That's Christine Nguyen, star of such films as Ghost in the Teeny Bikini. I don't know, maybe she's a geek girl, but I would doubt that was the credentials from which she was hired. And this shot itself is taken from a documentary about booth babes, which are basically just hot girls designed to, or I say designed, but dressed up to look like geeks in order to lure the fabled nerd that lives in his mom's basement over to whatever booth they're trying to sell their wares at. And it's almost a breach of trust that happened. And I can understand that this would make us as geeks, or at least male geeks, and I guess lesbian female geeks, a little distrustful when it comes to people saying, hey, they're a part of our hobby, yet still come off like they're trying to sell us something. But the demographics are changing. I did a whole video on this. Check it out. It's actually pretty cool. And I'm going to be doing another one soon based on the fact that comic shops are going to have to change if they want to survive. But the thing is that geeks, whether they be men or women, it's changing. And their port of entry is changing. We've got the Marvel U. We got the DCEU. We've got basically the only movie they're allowed to make anymore is superhero-based. So we're getting people who are coming fresh-faced off the street and finding our new hobby. And we have a choice of either being open or incredibly protective old man comic style.
Get off my lawn.
A lot of disagreements that I've been hearing recently. Even the ones that we have with, quote, the other side, unquote, come from not even being able to properly come to a consensus about what certain words mean. In this case, geek. One live stream it was brought to attention, was how many comics do you have to own before you're considered a comic book geek? I jokingly said 250. And that's the thing. What is exactly the geek? How do you know you're a member of the geek culture and not just some fake geek girl, fake geek guy? I think the reason why it bothers us so much is that the people that are coming in now, you got all the movies, they're seeing the movie and they say, hey, I want to try that. They jump in, and maybe, I don't know these people, I don't know who they are, maybe they go, wow, I like this comic book, I want to buy every back issue, every trade paperback I can find. And they just geek right the hell on out. We don't know. But I think part of the problem comes from, as I said before, the fact that a lot of the people who do consider themselves geeks found this hobby through need and desire. And that's what really, I think, makes a geek, no matter how you identify with what's passing right here. You know, are you the youth? Are you the rage nerd or whatever? I think that's what it comes down to. Some of us found this by necessity. We were outsiders. You go in, you go into this and you find solace, you find meaning in the words rather than just, oh, mindless entertainment. While others, it came easy. And that's why I think that we're still getting the myth of the mother's basement dwelling nerd. There's a click system now in geekdom. And maybe we are nervous that we'll be on the bottom of that click system again, as people are trying to define what geekdom is to us, even though we've been around forever. We should be defining it to them, right? I mean, we are the gatekeepers. We are the ones who've been here before. So shouldn't it be us who lays down the terms? But there's no real terms, are there? There is no rule to say what is a geek and what is not. We know a fake one when we find it. But just because someone doesn't agree with us doesn't make them fake. Like I said, this is a rant, so there's no real answer to this. There's no real, hey, this is the definition. So are we losing our identity? That was the question I raised. Or is it just that the term geek is being redefined out from under us? I don't know. It seems that way. But if that is the case, are we really becoming outsiders in this world that we found solace, the true geeks, so we can open up to a wider audience? Is that happening? The people who got angered by this image because I went and did the most awful thing anyone could ever do and showed evidence and convinced that Marcy and Peppermint Patty weren't, in fact, gay, they're the ones who now get to define what the word geek is, even though they are brand new visitors to our particular hobby. Are you telling me that the very same social justice warriors I said, come on in, the water's fine, just leave your head outside, are now saying what a geek is?
Thank you.
Get off my lawn.
Sorry, I don't buy it. I really don't. There is a difference between a fan and a geek. And a geek comes in to the hobby for some reason or other, but it's always for the desire. It's always for the need. It's not just because it's cool. For the same people that are getting those dolphin tattoos off the lower back because it was cool to do that in the early 2000s, it's just the same thing. A lot of people out there now buying comic books and watching the movies because it's the cool thing. That's it. So yeah, there is a difference. There's a huge difference between a fan and a geek. There's a huge difference between somebody who is just driven into this because whether it's need, whether it's desire, whether it's just something that makes you have to be a part of this community versus, oh, okay, Thor's cool, I think I'll buy a book. Why pictures like this and the picture that opened this video doesn't work on real geeks, because we look at it and we go, holy crap, woman, you are laying all over a whole bunch of Brubaker Catwomans. Could you please get off that Gotham City Girls? And you are so close to ruining not only the first issue of Harley Quinn's first series, but the first appearance of her in the regular DC universe. Those books alone can get you over $475 in the right condition. So could you please get off that before we talk about the fact that while you're trying to look like Barbara Gordon, the loosely felt utility belt comes from Stephanie Brown and later. And, excuse me, but Barbara Gordon was red-haired, okay? And now that we got that out of the way, then we can talk about whether you're sexy or not. And that, my friends, is true geekdom. But that's just my opinion. What is yours? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? I don't even remember what I said. This is a rant, for cripe's sake. So a lot of this I just talked, just maybe to get thoughts out of my head. So what did you think? Do you agree with me like it seems like the word Geek is shifting, the definition is shifting? And if so, are we being left behind? The classic geek? Let me know in the comments below. Also, you know the drill. If you like this video, please click like, click share. Sharing is the most important, of course. And if you haven't done this already, hit subscribe and don't forget to hit that notification bell so you don't miss anything, because it's important. Cool things happen around here. Also, we do have a Patreon page. We have a VIDME page if you don't mind helping us keep the lights on and helping us keep making videos like this for you, because it's fun to do. And it's a lot of fun to get feedback. And to all of those who have done that, we'd like to say thank you. And to all of you, all the true believers who wonder, how are we supposed to tell crime to shut up if we have to shut up? We thank you very much for watching.
Here I am, they know, man of the world. All I need is a